Hey guys, Peter here, aka Peter Freakout 10. You're on the movie review show with the good movies always reviewed. Anyway, today I'm going to take a look at the sequel to the last movie I reviewed. If you don't remember, last time I did a review on the 1992 horror film Candyman. So, in 1995, Clive Barker came back into the producing chair and they were able to make Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh. This is typically Candyman 2. But it doesn't say 2 on there. Anyway, this one came out in 1995. Tony Todd reprises his role. You got Kelly Rowan, Timothy Carter, and Veronica Cartwright, as well as a lot of other people. And Philip Glass also does the music in this, just like he did in the first one. And the music is still tremendous in this one, just like it was in the first one. And this is actually a pretty good sequel, I have to say. I mean, it's not quite as good as the first Candyman, but it still is a definitely fun sequel. And it's great for nostalgia feel, I have to say. It's a nostalgic movie. That's basically all I can say. Now, basically, this time, the Candyman, played by Tony Todd, is now in New Orleans, where there have been a bunch of murders going on, and there's this teacher named Annie who is trying to convince the police that her brother didn't commit the murders because one night he got in a bar fight with this author who told his father to say Candyman 5 times into the mirror, and he did it and he got killed for it, and so he blames him for telling him about the myth. And while trying to solve the mystery, a group of her kids at school believe the Candyman does exist and believe he is the one doing all the murders. So they decide to tell her, and this one kid, who is the son of a priest, draws a picture of the Candyman. And she is disturbed by the picture, so she decides to prove that the Candyman does not exist. And what do you know? She says Candyman 5 times in the mirror, and the Candyman comes to her and tries to kill her. And we later learn that both the Candyman and Anne have a connection with each other. And I don't want to spoil the connection they have, but it's a pretty shocking part of it. And that's what pretty much made the movie great, because the connection they made of it was very, very interesting to see how they could make a connection between the two. And it just had a great chemistry also, and it just worked out very well, the chemistry between Anne and Daniel Robital. And they actually mention his name in this one, where in the first one they just called him Candyman. That's another thing I like about the movies, the fact that they mention more detail about the Candyman. Like, they give him, like, his backstory. They show a clip of us, how he was murdered and how he became the Candyman. It was a very shocking scene, very gruesome. A lot of the deaths in this movie are more gruesome than the original. And they just did a great job with the Candyman in this. I thought they gave it more detail in this. And the fact that it just worked out so well in this. I thought it worked perfectly in this one. I thought it worked out a lot better in this one than in the first one, the backstory they gave him. Because they gave more detail. In the first one, they just said about why he got killed and everything, and just showed pictures. But we never got an actual clip where he was killed. And that's basically one thing I like about the film. And it just worked out perfectly to see that. However, there are some bad things about the film. Oh, I also forgot to mention this. Tony Todd also reprises his role, and he still does a fantastic job in this. That's one good thing I have to say about the film, because you can't have Candyman without Tony Todd. It's just hard to have Candyman without Tony Todd, because he did the part perfectly in the first one, so you gotta have him back for the sequel. But anyway, there are some very, very bad stuff about this movie. For example, there's like this one point in this movie, well, it's a lot of parts in this movie, where there's like this one guy who's talking over when the emotion parts are happening, like, "Oh yeah, give me that New Orleans, you are making me proud." He does that every minute he talks. I mean, he talks like that every minute, even in the emotional section. Because it's hard to watch the emotion that the characters are going through when we have some stupid narrator talking in the background making jokes, when really it should be an emotional scene and not just this stupid man talking in the background talking about how great the Farewell to the Flesh Festival is going to be. That's basically one thing I don't like about the film. Another thing I don't like about the film is the setting. I mean, this one was filmed in New Orleans, while the first one was set in Illinois' Cabrini Green. And to be honest, I thought Cabrini Green was a lot creepier because it had a better atmosphere than New Orleans. And I just didn't take it too well in this one as much as I did with the first one, the setting. And it just felt like they got a location, they had to throw in everything about the location. It just felt like they added too much to the location, too much everything about the location, when really they should have been focusing on the main characters. That's what I felt like, because they showed too much. Some cemeteries, which I think are locations in New Orleans, but they just did that way too much in this movie. They showed way too much location for New Orleans, as much as they should have focused on the story and coming up with new ideas for characters. But other than that, I have to say it's a likable and fun sequel. All in all, I gotta give it an 8 out of 10. Got a great sequel. Definitely check it out if you like the first one. I got this in Newberry Comics, which explains why it's in a horrible case. But yeah, that's basically what it looks like, the case, and that's basically what I have about it. Now, next time I'm gonna be reviewing, let me get it out, the Nightmare on Elm Street series, as I said, and I'm going to be reviewing the first one next, A Nightmare on Elm Street, which, in order to watch the movie, I'll be right back. Cause, you want to know why? Why, in order to watch these things and review them? And because I'm getting ready now, and in order to watch them, hold on 1 second, I gotta get this. Because in order to watch them, you gotta be Freddy. This is God. Sorry about that, this is my mess. But anyway, as I said, next time, this is God.